if there is something you keep and you put away your authentic self in order to keep it, that's very expensive. And that's a trade that shouldn't have happened. Hey guys, it's Edith here, and welcome to the Oasis of Authenticity. Today I was walking to this park and I got an idea of being alone and how it's connected to authenticity. But not just being alone, it's literally like feeling lonely. Because I was really walking a long way, not even to this park, but throughout the whole life, to get really like truly authentic. As I walked this way to real authenticity and to my real self, it sometimes got so uncomfortable that I felt that I really want to go back and I really want to practice the old version of me. For example, to look for a job desperately, or to stop dancing and just, focus on something that's more stable, or to just abandon music because I started too late, like when it's too late, right? And the truth is, once you really decide to be authentic and you decide to become yourself and to see your true purpose, your true path, your true personality, your true voice, you don't even know at that point where the hell are you actually going. I know that authenticity from also social media and from generally people that made it to their authentic self, they kind of present it as, not all of them, but a lot of them, you get the idea that it's not that hard, that it's just something you decide and now then it kind of works out by itself. Well, of course, this decision is very important, and the brain also changes on a biological level once you make decisions, so that's very important. But that's just a very, very small fraction of everything that you have to do in order to get there, and in order to be not performing authentically, but really live authentically. And so the authenticity, it's not a light switch. Before it gets very beautiful, free, and absolutely amazing, you have to just go through something. You have to accept that you are literally going to change worlds. It's like, imagine if a baby is in a womb, there's extreme comfort. Everything is done for the baby. Food, shelter. The baby feels so comfortable and so safe that it doesn't even need any clothes. And imagine that you're somewhat in this new situation again. Your authentic self is literally someone who lives in a little different world, because we see our world as we are. And so if you change yourself, you will inevitably change the world around you. You will change the environment, the friends, the opportunities, everything. And as the baby changes the world, literally, it is very, very uncomfortable. That's why the baby is probably crying, because it doesn't like it. In this sense, the transition from being your self that is not true, that is performing, that is just reactive, to this person who is receptive, who is calm, who is grounded, confident in himself, there is going to be this painful transition, and it's inevitable. And it gets lonely, it gets ugly sometimes. So many emotions can arise, and you also have to get rid of everything that's in the old world. Imagine the baby is getting rid of the safety, of the shelter, of the, calmness, of the everything done for you. So in order to get something, you always need to give something. In order to get a breath, you need to give a breath. And in order to get a night, you need to get or give the day. You know, you always need to get rid of something in order to get something else. Life is a zero-sum game. You always need to give something in order to get something. And in case of authenticity, you need to give the feeling of lonely. You really need to experience it in order to get the freedom and the authenticity that you desire. Mind that solitude is not a punishment, it's a portal. It's the test. It's the most important test in this journey, because this test literally does the differentiation from the people that are just involved, that are just curious about how would it feel, versus the people that are committed, that are ready to give out everything in order to get to their truth. And these committed people, these are always going to make it, because they are not going to give up. The only failure that you can do is to give up. These people are facing every uncomfortable emotion that they experience, but they stay. And when it gets really lonely, they trust and they stay in the lonely place and they just face the feelings. Because how can you get authentic when you're always faced with distractions, when you're always faced with people and their opinions? There is always what you're getting. You're always getting, you're always consuming. Once you consume, you get something. And you cannot receive anything when you want to find out what's inside. You cannot no more receive more things and more opinions. You can't no more receive more doubts, more limits, more ideas. In that case, you need to sit in silence and just be. And sometimes the silence speaks the loudest, and you'll always get something out of it. If you imagine a trait, if you imagine like someone would offer you something and you would really like it, you would give, or you would need it. You would really give almost everything that you have in order to get it. You know, if it would be something emotionally connected, if it was your home when you were a child, if someone would give you an offer to buy your home and you really loved that home so much that you really want to own it, but the price would be just very high, you would do anything if you were committed, anything to get the house. But there is just a level of commitment, there is just a level of how emotionally you're connected with it. And that's why I always encourage you, if you're not really committed right now, just be aware that you're not committed. And that's okay. Like, this is not for everyone. This is a very long journey, but at the end, it's something that no one can take away from you anymore. It's you knowing yourself. It's you being aware of yourself almost fully. It's something I don't know how to explain in, for example, monetary means. It's something you really, it's priceless. And so there is just this level of realizing, and usually we realize this, that we really need to know our true selves just right after the silence almost breaks us. And honestly, I feel like everyone will in their life at some point realize that if they weren't authentic, they should have been. They should have started, and they should have pay the price or just put in the effort. That's also some kind of price, let's say. And I'm scared that a lot of people is realizing it on their deathbed. And that's why I'm making this video. Any price that you need to pay for being your authentic self is a bargain. Like anything that you need to put in to be your authentic self is worth putting in. The effort is worth it. The loneliness is worth it. Telling your old friends that you're not probably going the same path and saying that you will need to restrict the contact with them, that's okay. That's the price you need to pay. If there is something you keep and you put away your authentic self in order to keep it, that's very expensive. And that's a trait that shouldn't have happened. And so some people have more rational, analytical thinking, and some people have more thinking based on intuition, so it's rather feeling based on emotions. I don't know what your approach is, but if you're more the analytical person, you can think about it as a trait. You can think about it as a transaction, literally. Even though it's very transformational, in this manner we can call it a transaction, because you always need to give something in order to get it. And if you're more emotional based person, you can just think about it like to become the person that you were always meant to be, and to do your thing, to really dive in and immerse in something that you feel the meaning in and that you feel a purpose in. And this makes you the most fulfilled person that you could have ever been, because that's actually in the whole history. We always search for meaning. The people are different, the history is different, the places could be different, but we always ask why. Why are we here? The meaning. And so if you find meaning behind something that is like a treasure found, that is the thing we should look and seek in this life. And if you're authentic, you already know you yourself, with already confidence and with your groundedness, you already know what is that. But you first need to become authentic. Otherwise, you would do thing that you think is meaningful to you, but it doesn't come from your true self. So how can it be true? Also, I understand that with family, it can be also very tough sometimes to try to become your authentic self in front of your family. I'm telling you to try to do your best and leave your hometown. Leave it. I'm telling you that from my own experience, the moment I landed into a new city, of language that I didn't know, of people I didn't know anyone. And it doesn't even matter what type of environment it is. It always kind of shows you your different version in any environment that you're in. There is always a new version waiting for you. And that's why it's so important to travel, but I really encourage you to just take a 1 year or at least like 6 months and just leave your hometown. Of course, if you have circumstances that don't allow it, that's okay. You can also do it on your own. It doesn't have to be this drastic thing, but I really, it's the fastest one and the most effective one. And also you make new friends and you learn new language. It's amazing. However, it can be done differently. You can just go on walks, 1 hour walk per day. It can be done. In the mornings, you wake up, you either immediately go out or you drink a coffee and you go out. it can be done. Think if you're committed or not. If you're really committed, you would do it. Also, if your partner is not supporting this, you would trade your authentic self just to be with partner that might not even be really your life partner. Be really honest with yourself. Really honest. There are 8 billion people in this world. Everyone will find someone that loves them, and either they will love the fake you, or you will just get your courage, just ditch the person that is loving the fake you, and you take the time for yourself, you become authentic, and then the people are going to be attracted to you. You'll become magnetic to those people who are also authentic, who also did the work. And I'm telling you, relationships with authentic people, they are the most beautiful thing in this world. And the quality of relationships are extremely important, because there was one study, it was a very huge study and it was a very long study, it was like for 70 years of the same people tracking their length of life, and they put it in a correlation with their relationships, and it showed that the people that were having the best and the deepest relationships were living longer. Really, all we need in this life is to feel loved, and then you can really move mountains. Every damn saying that is so cliche is really truth, because once there is something cliche, it's been repeated again and again and again. That's why it became cliche. I know that this video might be longer, but it's all connected together, and so I want to make it in some kind of context, and not just talk about the solitude itself, even though it's really the most important thing of this video to focus on. And yeah, I think that if you are the one that is committed, you're still watching, and you are going maybe through this phase of loneliness. If you are going through this phase of loneliness, I'm telling you, you're absolutely not alone in this, and you're never alone. You always have yourself, and we all need to realize that you can become authentic only in the room where it's not full of applause, not full of other people. You can become authentic only in the room where it's maximum a mirror and you see yourself. No one else can see you. You have to live this. What are you doing when no one is watching? What would you choose if no one would validate you? Where would you go if no one told you their opinions? What would you become? What would you do in your life every day as a work or as a craft if other people's opinions would not matter? So, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, that it gave you some kind of value. I hope that you enjoyed also this view, because I absolutely love it here, and I'm gonna chill a little bit more. I'm gonna think a little bit more and read, and yeah, I hope that you have also a very good day, and if you're not, don't worry, this all shall pass, and if you keep going, you'll get there, and trust the process, never give up.